You went in for milk. That's it. 2 things on the list, 5 minutes tops. 14 minutes later, you're at the register with a cart, not a basket, a cart, staring at it the way a person stares at a hotel minibar receipt. How did that happen? Not by accident, not even close. Every square foot of that store was designed around one goal. Not your convenience, not your time. Just one thing, keeping you inside longer, spending more, while feeling like every decision was yours. The temperature, the smell, the music, the floor plan, the height of the shelves. None of it is neutral. Every detail is the result of research, testing, and decades of studying how your brain behaves when it thinks it's just shopping. You weren't shopping. You were being hunted. And the bread smell? We'll get to that, because that's the part that should bother you most. In the 1950s, a Viennese architect named Victor Gruen designed the first modern enclosed shopping mall. His original vision was noble, a community plaza, a place to slow down and wander, inspired by the great European market squares. It worked, just not the way he intended. Retailers noticed that inside the mall environment, shoppers slowed down, lost track of time, and forgot why they'd come in. They wandered, and while they wandered, they bought things they hadn't planned to buy. This now has a name, the Gruen transfer. The moment a shopper transitions from purposeful to directionless, from I came in for milk to just being there. Gruen spent the last decade of his life furious about it. He gave lectures denouncing the commercialization of his idea, called it Gruenification, wanted nothing to do with it. Which is a completely reasonable response to finding out your life's work had been turned into a psychological trap. Happens to the best of us. Once retailers understood the transfer, they started engineering for it deliberately. That's why the milk is at the back. Not a coincidence. Milk is a staple. Almost everyone needs it, so stores place it as far from the entrance as possible. Every person who came in for one thing has to walk the entire perimeter first, past every display, every end cap, every item they didn't know they needed until it was right in front of them. A decision made by someone in a room about your behavior. That's just the floor plan. Now, your senses. Music. In 1999, researchers tested slow versus fast music in a supermarket on different days. Slow music produced significantly more sales. Not because people liked it more, but because it slowed their walking pace. Slower pace, more time in front of products, more things in the cart. The store wasn't playing music for you, it was playing it at you. Temperature. Retail environments are kept slightly cool, not uncomfortable, just enough to keep you alert. Slightly uncomfortable, slightly incentivized to keep moving, keep engaging, keep doing something rather than just standing there reconsidering your choices. Lighting. The produce section uses a specific blue-green spectrum that mimics early morning sunlight. Under it, vegetables look crisp, alive, just picked. Under regular fluorescent light, they look fine. The produce isn't better. Your brain is being lied to by the lighting. And now, the bread. Walk into almost any large grocery store, and within seconds you smell it. Warm, fresh bakery bread. You feel comfortable, slightly hungry, and a slightly hungry shopper buys more food. Here's what's actually happening. In most stores that smell like bread, there is no bakery. There is a machine, a scent diffusion system pumping synthetic bakery fragrance through the ventilation at the entrance, timed and placed at the exact moment you transition from outside to inside. The smell is manufactured. Subway's version is so precisely engineered that it's a brand asset. Someone owns it. Let that sit. Price anchoring. You walk into an electronics store. First thing you see, a $1,200 television. Large, prominent, not on sale. Then, 2 feet right, a $400 TV. Same size, similar specs. That $400 TV just became a bargain. Not because it's cheap, but because your brain is now measuring it against the $1,200 anchor placed there for exactly this reason. The expensive one isn't for sale. It's a calibration device.
Think about the last time you went in for one thing and came out with 6. That wasn't impulsiveness. That wasn't poor willpower. That was the Gruen transfer. Slow music, produce lighting, a scent machine, and an anchor price, all working in sequence on a brain that had no idea it was a target. But none of that is the part that should actually unsettle you. We haven't talked about what happens when you pay. In the 1990s, MIT researcher Drazen Pralik discovered something uncomfortable. People consistently paid significantly more for the same item when using a credit card versus cash. Here's why. Paying with cash activates what Pralik called the pain of paying. Handing over physical money feels like a real loss. Your brain registers it. That sensation, mild as it is, creates friction, a slight break between wanting something and having it. Credit cards remove that friction almost entirely. The transaction is abstract. A number moves somewhere in a system you'll deal with later. The pain is delayed, diffused, invisible.
The entire move away from cash, credit cards, contactless, tap-to-pay, one-click checkout has been at every stage the progressive removal of the psychological resistance that exists between wanting something and buying it. Every retailer has designed for this. Every step toward frictionless payment was a step toward more spending. That wasn't a side effect. It was the point. And now the part that moved this from interesting to, wait, how far does this go? Major retailers use eye-tracking technology to test shelf layouts before they go live. Researchers with eye-tracking headsets walk through test stores. Dwell time on each product is measured. The products with the highest margins are placed in the zones where your eyes naturally drift. The shelf arrangement you think is logical was optimized for your unconscious attention. And yes, someone got paid to watch brain scans react to cereal boxes. Think back to when you walked in. The automatic doors, the smell, the slightly cool air, the wide entrance that slowed your pace, the cart corral positioned so grabbing one is the path of least resistance. The produce, colorful, alive-looking under that blue-tinted light at the entrance, so the first thing you see makes the whole store feel fresh. Every detail was a researched, tested, data-confirmed choice made by people who understand your brain in that environment better than you do. You walked in feeling like you were making your own decisions. You were inside a machine.
Does knowing this help? Honestly, a little. Awareness of a manipulation reduces its effectiveness, slightly. Knowing about the Gruen transfer can make you pause. Recognizing an anchor price can make you recalibrate. But the system was built to work on people who know it exists. The music still slows your steps, even when you can name it. The pain of paying is still lower when you tap your phone, no matter how many times you've heard this. Knowing the trick doesn't fully undo the trick. That's how good it is. But here's what's worth sitting with. The most expensive thing in that store has nothing to do with any product on any shelf. What's really being sold? Underneath the floor plan, the scent machines, the anchor pricing, the eye tracking, is an identity. The kitchen that looks like the ones in magazines. The body that fits the clothes on the mannequin. The life that's organized enough to need those storage containers. Every store sells you a gap. The gap between who you are when you walk in and who you could be, implied by what's on the shelves. And the entire environment exists to make that gap feel closable. Right now. For $14.99. You went in for milk. You came out carrying a version of yourself you're still paying for. And the machine opens again tomorrow. Same hours, same smell at the door, waiting for the next person who just needs a couple of things and won't be long.